Good afternoon, my name is David Chamberlain with Great Escapes RV Center, and I'm here in a brand new Rockwood to demonstrate the operation of your systems. First of all, you have a power ton jack. I will be going through this kind of quick. You'll be able to review this over and over again as you deem necessary. Power ton jack's very easy. Up, down, with adjustable leg here, and a light switch on the front. Your propane tanks. Big question we ask is, how does the regulator, automatic switch over regulator system work? And what you do is you turn on the tank you want to turn on first. You simply move this arrow. Chris, can you get a close up of that arrow there? See, there's an arrow that goes from tank to tank. Turn it to whatever tank you want to turn on first. Turn on that tank and then turn on the next tank. It would normally show up red and then start to turn green when it starts to pressurize. We just had them on and back off, so that's why it's still green. But then what happens is, as you're using the propane from this tank, since the arrow's pointing, it'll start with this tank, run it all the way down till it's empty, automatically switch over. But you won't know until you look in here and see a red indicator. If the red indicator's on, either the tank is off or it's out of propane, for whichever way the arrow's pointed to. Simply turn it to the next tank, and then you can close the tank valve, disconnect it, and go get this one filled up while this one's still running. Coming around the side, we'll come to the hookups. The jacks are on the other side on this, so we'll go through that on the other side. Down here, we have your septic dump system. Now, on this particular model, and you'll need to watch for different models, this has two dump valves. Some models have all into one, some models have two different outlets. This particular one has two outlets. You will always have two gray tanks and a black tank, and then if you have a second bathroom model, it'll have a second black tank for a total of 4 valves. Always make sure you look for those valves. There's going to be 2 gray valves, 1 black tank valve. Black tank is your sewage. The gray water valves will be your sink and shower in the bathroom, and then your kitchen sink as well. In this instance, what we do, and we'll come back to that and show you how to hook everything up, but the big wide valve, you can always tell which one's a sewer outlet by how big the valve is. This is called a 3-inch valve. The bigger valve is always your toilet. Smaller valves are always your gray water. So, and Chris, pan up over there. There's your other outlet for the, now that particular one has a big valve, but it's a gray water tank because it's separate on its own. So this unit has 2 valves there. Also, just for an interest here, this does has TPMS. If you have green, there's 2 different types of green caps. There's a regular plastic green cap that says it's nitrogen filled tire versus an air filled tire, and there's these octagonal caps which are TPMS sensors. If your vehicle has this octagonal cap, it has tire pressure monitoring system installed, and you should have a monitor to read those tires. So we'll go on a separate video and show you how to do that, but it's really simple. All doors on these units have a magnetic latch. Lift the door up, it holds itself. It says slam door. When you get ready to drop it, just let it slam close, make sure it's secured, and always push in to make sure you hear that click. When you slam it, you don't hear it latch properly, just push in a little harder, because those seals, when they're new, make a nice tight seal, so you might have to push in by hand. Anytime you have a bumper with a square tube bumper, this is called a 4-inch tube bumper, you can pull these caps out and you can store your sewer hose inside the bumper. Now, most trailers still have these bumpers. A lot of them are getting away from the bumpers to a 2-inch receiver on the back, and in that case, they typically come with an extra carrier somewhere on the RV. In this case, this one has a 50 amp service. It does have 2 air conditioners. You get a 30 amp or a 50 amp. This is a 50 amp service, and it plugs into the back of the RV, and you simply run it into the power box as shown over here. This one actually does have a hitch on the back too, which is nice. Now over here, on this particular Rockwood, here's all your connections. Cable satellite, this is your cable TV, this is your satellite. Satellite has a dedicated feed and a special T that allows the feed to go through. You cannot run satellite through your cable because it's not the right adapter. You'll never get a signal through to your box inside the unit. But simply on a satellite, you'd put a dish outside here somewhere, a portable dish, and then you would run the feed into here, and on the inside of the TV, we'll show you where it ends up. and then you plug your box into that with an HDMI cable back out to the TV, and that's how you get satellite TV inside the trailer. Most campgrounds, including KOAs, have cable TV available for no extra charge, and you can simply plug this in to the outside box that's provided by KOA, and then you'll be able to have TV on all your channels. Make sure to do a channel scan every time you reset up your RV, especially if you're on cable. You'll have to tell the RV how to set it up for cable TV, scan all available channels, and you'll need to do that for on-air channels as well using your high definition antenna that is included on every trailer we sell. City water connection. Very important. I cannot stress this enough, that you take your time, especially after driving 8 hours all day long, and you're setting up and it's nighttime. If you notice, there's an antifreeze inlet and a city water connection. These are two totally different connections. Make sure you identify the one with city water to be able to use for a freshwater hose coming in. This will simply hook up into a regular tap. You run a hose into this. Always use a water pressure regulator. They're regulated about 45 PSI. You want to make sure that you keep the pressure inside the RV consistent, and so you don't get any possible leaks or swelling. But city water connection here. This is an antifreeze outlet here. We will have a separate video available on how to antifreeze or winterize your trailer with antifreeze, and that'll be available on our website at greatescapesrv.com. On this side, now if you want to use the onboard water pump, we call this dry camping. When you dry camp, you have to use the tank on board, the freshwater tank on board, and it has a water pump that takes the water from the tank and pushes it through all the faucets. This is where, and this will be the same on pretty much all RVs in this range of travel trailers, you'll have a what we call a gravity fill. And what that means is you simply take a hose, you put it in, you turn on the spigot, and you fill up the tank until water comes flowing out somewhere. Preferably like out of this hole. There's a vent right here. So if you see water coming out the vent, you got a full tank. And then simply put the cap back on, and then use the on-demand water pump inside to get water through all of your taps. Now, we get asked this a lot. How do you sanitize your freshwater tank? And we're gonna have a separate video on that. I'm not gonna cover that today, but we'll have a separate link at greatescapesrv.com under tech videos on how to sanitize your tank. So be looking for that on our website. This is an outside shower. Most RVs have some form of outside shower. This particular one has hot and cold running water. It also has a shower head you can turn off and on. And this is designed for using just to wash your hands, clean fish. You got grandkids, you got things like that. This one's a little weird because it is turned sideways. Still operates the same, it's just on a sideways deal. Now right here, Chris, if you want to get underneath here, these are the jacks. And so power jacks, obviously very simple to operate. Hold the button, watch the jacks. But I want you to see that they don't come down at the exact same time. If you see the jacks come down at two separate times, it's okay. This is totally normal. You hold the button until both jacks hit the ground. So one's gonna hit the ground first, then the other one. And here the motor, I just kind of let it go until the motor stops. Once the motor hits a thermal overload, it'll turn itself off, and that'll be stabilized. So don't keep going back and keep trying to get it more and more, because you're just gonna break something if you do that. Once the thermal overload kicks in, jacks are stabilized, your trailer is now ready for use inside, and you'll take away that vibration. All these steps, this Rockwood is upgraded with the new Sure Step, Easy Step, More Ride Step. There's different names, different brands. But all these steps, you simply, this one has a shock system built in, so it's a zero gravity step. And see how it just kind of wants to hold itself up, really cool. All you do is just let it go up inside the door, like so. Now, very important to make sure that when you park your trailer in storage that you leave enough room to get your steps back out. In this case, 3 feet, because you're gonna need to get back in the trailer. Now, this is the back door. You may not need to get in the back door. There's also a front door. And right here, these steps are adjustable, so you can adjust for any terrain right there. So simply put the step where you want it, put the pin back through, adjust it, and then make the second one match that adjustment. Friction hinge doors. These doors are a friction hinge, and they're non-adjustable. Just so you know, some people complain they're a little too stiff or they're not stiff enough. They're staked from the factory. However, you can lube these hinges, and right in between the gaps here, you can lube the hinges up, and you can make it a little looser if you would like. The idea behind a friction hinge is so when the wind grabs the door, it doesn't go slamming against the side of your coach. This particular one has TV mount for the TV from the inside to mount to the outside, place for a barbecue grill, and this is for hooking up your outdoor TV system. You got power. This is a outlet port from your TV antenna or your cable TV. I'll show you inside how that works. And this, you're saying, hey, this looks like just like the city water in the back. This is a sewer tank flusher. This is very, very, I can't stress it enough how important it is to make sure that your black tank valve is open when you are using a city tank, black water tank flusher with city water. That high pressure water going in, if your valve's closed, you'll blow the tank up. It happens, unfortunately, it happens more often than it should. So please, if you learn anything from this video, make sure the black water tank is open anytime you're using a black water tank flush system. If you forget, you will cause extreme damage and extreme expense to an RV that is not covered under warranty. That'll be considered operator abuse. Also on these wheels, it's a little easier to catch this side. There's a little cap that pops off. You pop this little center cap off. You can see it's a little bit different color there. It's plastic. And inside are greasable zerks. Very important that you use a good stringy grease. Get the best grease you can buy at your local automotive store, but only put 2 squirts in. It's not a bearing buddy where you just squirt as much as you can. 2 squirts once a year is more than ample for these sealed bearing systems, so you're fine there. Up front here, this particular model comes with a shelf system. And make sure that if you have any kids or grandkids running around, that you let them know this furnace does get very hot. This is the outlet exhaust for the heater, so in the colder weather, it does get very warm. This I wanted to show you, this is important. This is a Suburban 6-gallon water heater. This little latch just simply closes the door. Always make sure, this is a standard mount door kit. Some units will have a flush mount door kit, so when you open this door, it'll fall off in your hand. So you'll have to pull it up off 2 little pins that are right here. You want to do that so you don't damage the door. It will fall in your hand, it'll dent, or if you don't make sure this little latch is clasped down, you could lose the door in transit. On a Suburban water heater, it's very important that out here is an on-off switch. And if you see, Chris, right here, this on-off switch right here, that does your electric water heater element. Now that is a master switch, not the switch you're normally going to use to turn it off and on. There's a switch inside that is used for daily operation, but this switch is for maybe a seasonal operation. If I'm using it during the summer, obviously I want that on. During the winter, when I have the water tank drained out, I will turn that off. Now how to drain this water tank is, I believe this is 1/16". You'll get a big socket, and this is a giant anode. It's a rod about 8 inches long, and what it's designed to do, it's going to look kind of ugly when you pull it out. It's supposed to be a sacrificial rod that sucks calcium and contaminants to the rod, so you can replace the rod once a year. I recommend once a year. They're about $8.95. You might be able to get 2 years out of it, but why be cheap on an expensive camper? Place it once a year, you'll feel better. And that's your Suburban 6-gallon water heater. And then on your awning, I just want to show you a couple things on the awning. Most awnings have some sort of adjustment. I pull the awning down. It's on a gas strut system. And the reason why I do this is I want the rain to come off when it's starting to rain. If you get a heavy rain, pull your awning in. If you get a wind over 12 miles per hour, pull your awning in. Don't risk damaging an awning. And don't leave your trailer with the awning out while you're going out trail riding or you're going out boating. Always pull the awning back in, because weather changes so much. I've seen more than too many damaged awnings that are beyond repair, and a lot of times they'll damage the side of the RV as well. And I tell you, it's a power awning. It's a push button. Push it, let it come in, be done with it. You don't even have to worry about it. And then before you put it away, make sure you undo those knobs and bring the awning back to its normal position. One more side note is that most new trailers come with a solar prep kit. This is simply a battery charger panel, and this panel is available through our parts store, and it's a little Go Power panel just to keep the batteries charged up. Let's come on inside and see what the inside's like. All right, welcome inside your Rockwood. Just a couple quick things. Most of the features inside the trailer are very simple to operate. For one, to be your water system, It simply has a, you can change the direction of your flow of water. I don't have the pump on now, but anyway, you can change it from that to a spray. So that's simple to operate there. Always put these covers away. They will bounce off of this and start flying around, scratching and denting your interior. Always put the covers back in a cabinet or in a safely stowed position. This is your Suburban range. Now this particular range is very simple to operate. Turn on the burners, or one, whatever one you want to use. Push the self-lighting button and they ignite automatically. Super easy. However, the stove has a little bit different operation for the oven. And so what you do in the oven is you will have to turn this down. Now, Chris, get a close-up right here. When you turn this in, there's a first detent. It won't go any farther. It only goes one there, and you see there's no marker there. You hold that in, and then go ahead and get down inside there. And you hold down the self-starter button. Now, I didn't pre-prime this, so it might take a minute or so. But once that flame's lit, you continue to hold the button in for about 10 seconds. I'll get heated up there. There it goes. It stayed up. And you just turn on the thermostat there, and there's your flame coming on. Now, keep in mind that when you're cooking biscuits, it's good to get one of those little cook stones, little thin half-inch stone, because it'll burn the bottom of everything there. Refrigerator operation. This is a Dometic 8 cubic foot refrigerator. Super nice refrigerator. Big question we get is, how do you open the doors? See right here, Chris, right there, it says push. So you push this and you pull open that door. I'll get on the other side of you there. And so that's how you open the doors on these. And you've got access inside. You've got a light in here and a freezer, and the shelf is adjustable. So you can simply just put the shelf anywhere you desire in the freezer there. Now to light the refrigerator and push those in when you're traveling, make sure those locked. You hear that? There's regular, there's travel. You're going to want to make sure those are closed when you're traveling, because if not, you'll have food all over the floor. Real simple operation, on off. So you just turn the refrigerator on. You'll see auto and check. It's in auto. It's always going to go to 110 first. If 110 is not available, that's electricity, shore power. If it's not available, it'll kick over to gas automatically. Or sometimes on a very hot day, 100-degree day, gas tends to run cooler inside the refrigerator than 110. And to do that, to put it in manual gas mode, you just push the button so it comes out. So you're turning it technically off. And now off of auto into gas. Right now I can hear the refrigerator ticking. It's going to light its own flame, its pilot light. And then what happens is the gas creates a hotter atmosphere for the ammonia absorption unit, making it cooler inside. I know it doesn't make sense. You can look it up online. It's pretty cool how it works. 100-year-old technology, still works great. But gas will get you a little colder temperatures inside on a hotter day. But for the most time, you're just going to leave that off and leave it in the auto position. These lights, these new lights, big question we get is, how do you turn some of these lights on? In the very middle, there is a push button. Chris, can you get it kind of in there? There's a little push button that pushes those off and on. So that's how a lot of under cabinet lighting, most lighting is done by switches, but you'll see some of this stuff throughout that is not done by switches. All right, coming back to the bedroom, just wanted to show you where your TV mounts. All units typically have a place in the bedroom for a second TV. In this case, it's over here on the wall. Please make sure you feel around for the backing. There's a backing right here. Don't just go drill holes in the wall without feeling for the backing. So you got to make sure you locate where the backing is. It's a chunk of plywood that's put in there for a TV mount. And make sure that you use screws that are not longer than the width of your wall, the thickness of your wall. So always measure your screw to the window frame. And if it's past the window frame, do not use a screw. Otherwise, you'll be poking out the other side and you'll be very upset with your nice new trailer. So right here, there's satellite for the bedroom. There's satellite for the main TV, and this will be the cable TV or TV antenna. That comes in on that one. Both systems come in on that, and of course a 110 plug. These air conditioners, I don't have it turned on, but anytime you see a chill grill, which is a ducted deal, very important in the summertime. If you want to keep it cooler inside the trailer, our biggest complaint in the summer, I can't keep my trailer cool enough. In a ducted unit, you're running the nice cold compressor air through the roof that's being superheated by the sun, So what's happening is the sun's hitting the roof, it's heating up the air, and by the time it comes out the ductwork, it could be as warm as 85 degrees. Well, that's certainly not cool. Not in a nice trailer of this caliber. So with the chill grill, always recommend that you dump the air right off the compressor. This will give you air that's in the 50s and 60s, dumping straight into the RV, not going through the circulation of the roof, getting heated up. And then at nighttime, when the sun's off the roof, you can go ahead and, because it is a little louder when you're using the chill grill feature, but then once at nighttime, the sun's off the roof, go ahead and close these vents back up, and then you'll be able to enjoy a quieter ambiance and not have the loss of efficiency of your cold air being superheated. Showers, let me just do this door here. So basically, this is very self-explanatory, but I do want to point out that when you go to travel, please make sure that this little rubber bungee, or some of them have a little folding clip, whatever it is, or a little black latch. There's several different systems. Make sure that the shower doors are completely secured for travel. You'll always want to make sure that you do a checklist when you're going through, and we'll probably have a video for some kind of checklist of closing down an RV, because you want to make sure little things like roof vents are closed, shower doors are secured, obviously nothing on the countertops, things like that, you know, the sink covers we talked about. And then finally out here is your TV system, and this TV has to be programmed. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a special detail just on how to program a TV, because that question comes up a lot. So we'll have a little video clip for about 3 minutes just for doing the TV system and how to program it for cable, how to program it for antenna, and how to hook up your satellite TV to all that. So we'll have a little infographic for you on that. But my name is Dave Chamberlain. This has been a quick overview of your brand new Rockwood. I just want to point out one more thing. This is typically not ever an issue, but there's a power panel located at some point. In this case, it's under the fridge. Many times it's in the bedroom or under the refrigerator. And this power panel has all of your breakers into it. We get a lot of questions. I lost my AC. My power went out on the AC. Usually it's just getting hot, drawing a lot of amps, and there's a breaker right here for the AC. A lot of times that breaker's tripped, and it's very important to push down the breaker all the way down, then back up to reset that system. 50 amp is your main power coming in. Shuts off all the power. And then, of course, you got breakers for various systems. Over here is the 12-volt fuses, or are the 12-volt fuses. And the nice thing about these new fuses is see how the red light came on? That red light identifies which fuse is blown. So what I do is I put a brand new fuse in. The light goes away, the lights come back on, we're good. I highly recommend you grab a box of 15 amp fuses from our parts store or from O'Reilly's or anybody like that. As you notice, all these fuses are pretty much 15 amp. The 30 amps are for the charging side of the converter. But if you ever have a blown fuse, it sure is nice to have one on hand to replace it, because sometimes the fuses just blow for no reason. So don't be concerned if you just lose a fuse. A lot of times they're just cheap fuses and they blow. Once again, my name is Dave Chamberlain, Great Escapes RV Center. Thank you for joining us for this very quick overview. For more videos and more in-depth detail, be sure to visit our website, www.greatescapesrv.com, and go to our tech video section or RV delivery orientation video section for more videos on how to use your new RV. Thank you. Family, headed on down the road on a new adventure. Wherever we go, thanks to Great Escapes RV.